Alright, Shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and are teaching 100% truth according to the Bible. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there on the streets who are pushing this truth around the world, and to the confusion of face brothers who are doing the same. We are the true Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible. The true Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Hispanics and Native Americans, and the confusion of face Israelites that are scattered all around the world. So I'm here to do another hopefully quick lesson, which will be a sort of part 2 to my testimony about the Chariot sighting I posted a day or two ago. So I was thinking about this one, and I think I might call this lesson I Got Cut, because I got cut. Recently I've been having a lot of spiritual dreams. I mentioned the dream I had about the chariots, but I've also been having dreams about contending for the faith. Like, for example, I'll be, dreaming, and I'll be in a situation and someone might say something which is contrary to the scriptures, and I'll be like, hey, no, that ain't right because of such and such precept or whatever. And I've been doing that in my dreams. So I think the Lord's been putting a spirit on me to start pushing this word harder. I mean, I've been pushing this word already for quite a while now, but I think it's time. The Lord's been showing me it's time to step up the game and take it to another level. Now, the reason why I got cut is because when I first saw this chariot sighting, I didn't really talk about it because in my regular day-to-day life, I'm basically surrounded by scoffers, and I've done my best to minimize their impact in my life. For example, I've cut off a lot of old friends who were in the world and they couldn't get this truth. I just says, hey, you know what, man, I'm not dealing with you guys anymore. So I cut them off, because the scriptures say, be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. So let me get into this lesson. But before I do, I just want to pull up a quick precept. I think it's Joel. Let me see. Bear with me. Joel 28. Here we go. So here's the precept I wanted. Joel 2:28. Here's the precept I wanted. Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. So basically, that's what's been happening to me. I dream a fair few dreams, and I've had quite a few visions being in this truth. So I was having these spiritual dreams about contending for the faith, and I also had these dreams about like being in situations where someone's trying to cut my beard off. Now that's weird, and I'll wake up thinking, fuck, my beard, and I feel my face. I'm like, cool, it's still there. So it's kind of funny how the Lord's dealing with me in this way. But I'll get to the point of why I got cut. So basically, when I first saw this chariot sighting, I made the video of it, and I came home, and I was like, quite happy that I'd seen this, but it's not the first time that the Lord showed me stuff, so I kind of like was just okay, and I just continued with my life. Now the next day, I was around my mum, and I don't want to be disrespectful to my mum or anything, but she really is a queen scoffer. I mean, she claims she believes in the word and all this kind of stuff, but anytime I pull out the real truth, she rejects it. And she's done some crazy shit in the past, like tried to hide my Bibles and stuff like that to stop me from reading crazy stuff. I mean, maybe I'll do a testimony on that sometime later, but for now, let's just keep on with this. So basically, I had this footage of the chariot. So I thought to myself, okay, my mum's always scoffing. I wonder how she'd react if I showed her this footage. So I put the video on, and I said, Mum, yesterday when I was out, I saw a chariot. And I've been telling you that, you know, this is how the Lord's coming back and this, that and the other. But I finally got proof. I can show you. So I started playing the video clip. And she starts huffing and puffing. Like, you know, like acting all agitated and stuff. And when I said to her, so basically I was at the train station and I was walking home. And it's a 20-minute walk. And all throughout the journey, the chariot was following me. She goes, it wasn't following you. And I looked at her and I was like, what? You wasn't even there. How can you say whether it was or wasn't following me? You know? But she was like, it wasn't following you. As if like I'm some sort of someone so insignificant that nobody would have any interest in following me. That's the kind of thing I took from it, because I know it's the demons speaking through her, the demons that are on her, and they're basically trying to erode my faith. Now, I've been battling this particular demon for the most, ever since I've been a baby, basically, I've been battling the demons on my mum. But when this demon said it wasn't following you, I thought, hang on a minute, something's going on here. Because I'll give you another example, yeah? That same night that I saw the chariot, a few minutes later when I was walking home, I was walking down my road towards my house, and there was a woman walking a dog, yeah? Some tiny little dog, like, it wasn't even big, it was just small. And she was walking along and it was dark, and she had her phone in her hand and she was looking at the screen while she was walking the dog. So I'm walking along thinking, oh shit man, that was an incredible chariot sighting. I see the woman and the dog and I'm about to walk past, and all of a sudden I felt this bite on my leg. I was like, what? I looked down and the little dog was biting my leg, and the woman goes, oh, I'm sorry. And I was shocked by that, because I mean, I've never been bitten by a dog before. I'm not scared of dogs, but it's just something that, you know, it's never really happened to me. And it wasn't a serious bite. It didn't cut me or anything. It was just trying to chew my leg. It's pretty ridiculous. But basically, when I got home, I told my mum about the incident with the dog biting. And she was like, oh, how can they do that? Da 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 da. You know, like, she was really angry by the fact that they weren't taking care of the dog and the dog bit me. And I says, it wasn't serious, you know. She goes, that's not the point. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, it shouldn't have bit you. It shouldn't have bit you. You know, you need to be careful. Now, she was getting all animated and, you know, interested in that story about the dog biting me. She didn't question it for a second. She didn't say, oh, well, did the dog really bite you? Or, well, you know, she didn't question it. She accepted it 100%. But yet, when I had no footage of the dog biting. You know, it was just my testimony, my word of mouth. Yeah? But yet, I saw the chariots. I've got the video proof. And she's there. Oh, well, it wasn't following you. And, you know, coming out with all this shit. So basically, I thought to myself, right, that's it. I'm done. I ain't speaking about this word anymore to my mum completely. I just says, you know, I'm not gonna do it. And before I finished playing the video, she was like, do we have to watch this? And then she gets up and storms out of the room. Yeah? Now, what that basically showed me, not straight away, I had to think about it for a few days. But at the time, I was thinking to myself, well, that's a very strong reaction, you know. You know, most people, they'd probably be like, hang on a minute, this is interesting. Or, you know, they'd be curious. But she was just, you know, stonewall. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. It wasn't following you. You know, that was her attitude. So, later on that evening, I got into another altercation with her about something else, which she instigated. And that made me realise that, hang on a minute, this demon's trying to draw me out into cursing out my mum. Now, I'm not going to do that because the scriptures say to honour your mother and your father, you know. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm not going to get drawn into that kind of conflict. But this is how demons work. It's like these people who are scoffers, they're not just scoffing because they just want to scoff. These people are carrying all kinds of demons, man. And it's these demons speaking through them. And the demons are working to sort of draw you out to do something that's going off, you know, or draw you out into putting you into a compromising situation, which ain't good for you. So, moving on with that story, the next day, I sent the videos to my woman so she could see. Now, the thing is, she didn't really scoff, but she did scoff, but not like my mum, because she was there at the same time on my outbound journey and she saw what I saw. She watched the videos and she says, well, I've never heard anybody break it down the way you've broken it down before. I've never heard about these chariots, and I'm not going to say if I believe in this or not, but it's very interesting to hear about. But then she said, I talked to one of my friends at work and he said it might have been a light show. So I read that message and I thought to myself, hang on a minute. She's not going to believe in this word because she's going to be looking for any other explanation other than it being the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And that's basically the spirit of a scoffer. The scoffer will look for any conceivable angle for it not to be the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. So I read that and I thought to myself, well, I just said to her, look, okay, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but when it all comes to pass, and it will, I'll look forward to saying I told you so. And I pulled out the precept of then shall they know a prophet had been among them. I can't remember where it is, but I pulled out that precept and I stopped talking about it from that point. And from that point, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody else about this because I just was tired of dealing with scoffers. So I thought I'll just keep this to myself. So I didn't talk about it or show anybody the videos for like the rest of the week because that was on a Monday. Got to Saturday and it was time for camp. And by that time I was kind of like, I didn't even watch the videos myself because I don't know, I just didn't want to, I just didn't feel like it. So basically, I got to the camp on the Saturday. Yeah, I got to the camp on the Saturday and I rolled up there and I thought to myself, okay, cool, great to be at camp again. And as I went around, I was saying shalom to the brothers. One of the brothers asked me, so how was your week? And I was like, not bad. Catch another week in Babylon, catching hell. And then I remembered, hang on a minute, I've got the Chariot video. So I said, hey, I've got this. So I pulled it out and I showed him. And he was like, whoa. And then he sort of like got the attention of the elders in the camp. And he's like, you need to look at this. So then they looked at the video and they were like, what, you recorded that? And I was like, yeah, this is what happened, and I managed to catch it. So the elders were like, you know what, bro, you need to make a video. And I was like, oh. And that's the point when I got cut because I realised, hang on a minute, the Lord showed me this this great thing and I've just been sitting on it. Now that's what made me feel cut because I remembered the parable of the talents. So let me just get the parable of the talents if I can. Let me see, Matthew 25. Alright, here we go. So I'll break down this parable for you. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man travelling into a far country who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto the one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. But he that received the 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. And after a long time the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought another 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them and 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord, of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast, that is thine. And his Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knowest that I reaped where I sowed not, and gathered where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall receive abundant, and she have... Let me start again, sorry. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And so basically, to break down that parable, the wicked and slothful servant had a talent, but he didn't use it. So when the Lord came and he says, what have you done with the talent? And he says, I hid it in the earth, or buried it in a napkin or whatever. The Lord was angry because basically he'd given this guy a talent and he hadn't used it. So this is why I felt cut in my spirit, because basically I'd seen this chariot sighting and I hadn't done anything with this. I just sort of kept it to myself. And, I don't want to be that guy. So that was a good thing to be... Nobody rebukes me over it because nobody else knew. But I knew in my heart, and I felt pricked in my heart. And that's why I thought, you know what, man, you need to start going hard. And basically, when I was showing the video at the camp and the brothers were watching, I was seeing their faces and they're like, whoa, and I saw that it boosted their faith. And one of the other brothers in the camp was like, oh, I heard you got a video. And I was like, yeah. So I showed him. And I was like, I was about to say something. And he goes, say no more. And he just believed. It was just instantaneous. His faith was so strong. And that made me think, hang on a minute. Who are you going to put your faith in? Because when my woman had said, oh, maybe it's a light show, I didn't really acknowledge it much at first. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, maybe it was a light show, Maybe I was wrong about this whole thing. And that's where the demon of doubt creeps in. So basically, I had to overcome that. So another brother, when I was leaving the camp, was saying, he said to me, the Lord showed you this for a reason, and it's to help boost brothers' faith and, to help build up brothers. It's not just, he didn't just show it to you for no reason, So with that, I came away from that situation and I thought, you know what, I've got to start, I've got to do some videos. I've got to start taking this to the next level. I've got to really start pushing this word harder. And that all coincided with the dreams I've been having and everything else. So that's basically the quick, well, I don't know if it's quick, but that's the testimony or the part 2 to my little story. So I want to get some precepts that hopefully will help. So let me get Jude 1 and 3. Jude. Right, so here's Jude 1 and 3. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you the common salvation, it was needful to me to write unto you and exhort you that you should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. So basically, these scoffers, they're going to do everything they can to erode your faith, but you've got to fight back and contend for it. See, because even that little scoff that my woman done, which was maybe it was my friend at work said it might be a light show. Well, who the fuck is your friend at work? What does he know about the scriptures? What does he know about Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai? You don't know shit. So who are you going to listen to? Obviously, she's a woman. She'll find out in due time. But me, I had to ask myself, who am I going to listen to? Am I going to listen to my woman and a random colleague? Or am I going to put my faith in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai? That's the position I put myself in. And I thought to myself, fuck that. I've got to put 100% faith in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And even if it was a light show, it doesn't mean that the chariots aren't there. Now, I believe wholeheartedly that they were chariots. Yeah? But, scoffers are going to look for any other angle. So let me get some more precepts. Habakkuk. Okay, here's Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And that's really the point that I wanted to bring out. The just shall live by his faith. And that's what we've got to have in this truth, because basically, if I could say, like, let's say I saw a car and it drove past, and I could say, okay, the car had 4 wheels, 4 doors, a windscreen, it was blue, it had wing mirrors, it had 2 passengers inside, it had a license plate. You know, I could give you all these details about a car. Now, someone in the world who's seen that, they'll be like, oh yeah, he's talking about a car. But when I'm talking about chariots, these people in the world, they can't see it, or they haven't seen it, so therefore they can't fathom it. It is totally beyond the realm of their world. It's beyond their world. Basically, if you imagine their mind being, you know, a little world within itself, it has an end point, and they just can't go into this spiritual realm to understand these deep things of the scriptures. So all they can do is scoff. Yeah. So let me get some more precepts. Romans 10 and 17. So this is about faith. It says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. I'll get Romans 12 and 3. So you need to hear these words to boost your faith, you know. And most of the people in the world, they don't know these scriptures, they don't know these words, so they've got no faith. Because faith has to be given from Yahweh. You can't just, you know, get it like that. It has to be given. So 12 and 3. And obviously the Lord will put you in situations to test your faith and to boost your faith. So in my case, what I saw boosted my faith, you know, so that's why I'm here now doing this work. So Romans 12 and 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according that as Yahweh hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. You see, so it's not really, you know, it's a gift from Yahweh. It's not something that I thought, okay, you know, I'll save up or I'll do this and I'm going to get this much faith. No, it's just what the Lord has given unto me, and I'm grateful for it. And I want to use what He's given me to be a profitable servant. So, and why are we doing this? That's the question, you know. So what is the end game of this all? So the end game is this. This is what we should be focused on, or at least this is what gets me fired up, so I'll share it. Revelation chapter 2 and 25. Okay. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter they shall be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And now that's what gets me fired up, because I want that crown, you know, and I want to have power over the nations for what they've done to me and to everybody else who's an Israelite. You know, I want to get revenge on them, and righteous vengeance, you know. So that's what's, you know, we should be contending for the faith to receive an incorruptible crown. There's another brother who uses the phrase, you know, you've got to get down for your crown. And I really believe that, you know, you can't just not do the work and hope that when the Lord returns, He's just going to give you a crown. No, you have to be putting in the work and you know, going all out. You can't be lukewarm in this thing. You've got to be all in or all out. There's no Humpty Dumpty position in this. You know, if you want to play defense, be Humpty Dumpty, you're going to get broken, you know, and you're going to get destroyed. So, moving on. Let me get Romans chapter 1:18. Right, it says, "For the wrath of Yahweh is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of Yahweh is manifest in them, for Yahweh has shown it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, the Most High. Neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools." Now that's basically a scoffer. Let me read that again. "Because that when they knew Yahweh, that they glorified him not as the Most High. Neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, that their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahweh into the image made like unto corruptible man, to birds and to four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore Yahweh also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonour their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause Yahweh Hashem Yahshai gave them up to vile afflictions, for even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature." So that's talking about lesbians there, and your homosexuals. "Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. And even as they did not like to retain Yahweh in their knowledge, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things that which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whispers, backbiters, haters of Yahweh, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Yahweh, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them." And that's talking about 99.99% of the people out there in the world. All those scoffers, they all fall under this this precept cuts them all. You know, that the Lord has given them over to a reprobate mind. And you've got to remember that, because basically we can't choose who's going to make it in this thing. You know, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai does the choosing. You know, we're just here to fish for the elect, but we don't choose who the fish are. So basically, all these scoffers, I've got zero pity for them anymore. There was a time when I used to think, oh, but I want this person to be saved and that person to be saved. But there comes a point when you realise, hang on a minute, these people are fucking wicked, man, and they deserve to be put down. You know, so yeah. It's the Lord who chooses, and it's the Lord who rejects. So these people who can't get the world, they've been rejected by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, and it is what it is. It ain't going to change. There's no point crying and lamenting over it. Let's move on, and let's keep edifying the elect who are predestined to make it. Let's keep looking for those brothers, you know, and a few Akwath who might make it too. So let me bring out some more precepts. It's Chariot chapter 25:19. Ecclesiasticus 25:19. Alright, so basically, dealing with my moms, I keep this scripture in mind. This is Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus chapter 25:19. "All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her." And let me read that again so it really penetrates, yeah? "All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her." Now that scripture can be applied not just to my own mother, but to many people in my family, my grandmothers, my aunties, you know, these women who will sit up in the Christian church saying praise Jesus, worshipping a white Cesare Borgia Serapis Christus image, and then they'll be talking about, I plead the blood of Jesus. I plead the blood of Jesus. And when you ask them, what does that actually mean? oh, you must plead the blood of Jesus. You know, they talk this shit. And then they're sitting around eating pork and offering you some. And then when you say, no, auntie, I'm not eating no pork, they look at you sideways like, what's wrong with this guy? You know, I mean, I could do a whole lesson on that, but these Christians fucking piss me off, man, especially these so-called Jake women, man, thinking that they're righteous when they don't know shit about the Lord. And when you try and show them, they're like, they say, oh, you haven't got the fruit of the Spirit. But yeah, I'm breaking down scriptures better than any of you. Anyway, moving on, yeah? Next precept, Proverbs 8:4. Proverbs 8:4. Alright, so this one says, unto you, O men, I call, my voice is to the sons of men. So that's basically saying, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is pouring out his spirit on the young men, you know, who are, well, and there's older men too. But basically, you know, he's raising up the prophets again, and he's putting his words in our mouth, so we're supposed to speak these words. So realistically, these women ain't got a damn thing to say. They ain't got a damn thing to say. And let me get the precept for that. 1 Corinthians 11:3. Right. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. Every man praying and prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoureth his head. But every woman that prayeth and prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoureth her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven. Let me jump down a little bit. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for woman, but the woman for the man. Now, let me read that again. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was man created for the woman, but the woman for man. So basically, these women shouldn't even be talking. If you're a prophet of the Lord, which Lord willing we are, and you're speaking these words, these women shouldn't be saying a damn thing. They should be silent, you know. And they shouldn't be trying to correct brothers or overtalk brothers or contradict brothers or say, you know, X, Y, and Z to basically erode a brother's faith. No, these women should be in subjection. So let me get that. 1 Timothy 2:11. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. You see? Now let me break that down. You see, in my case, because I don't deal with many people, you know, two women in my life, my mother and my woman, when I was talking about this chariot sighting to them, they both said things which eroded my faith. Well, it didn't erode my faith, but it just made me not want to talk about it. You know, I still believed, but I didn't, you know, feel like talking about it. So it did have an effect on chipping away at even if just a small way, it had an effect of chipping away at me, yeah? And if I'd have let that continue, it would just, you know, that crack would grow and grow and grow and grow until eventually, God forbid, I fall out of the truth, you know? So that's why I'm putting my foot down and doing this lesson, because brothers need to be strong, especially when they're around women, because it's very easy to underestimate the wickedness of a woman and what she can do to you. I mean, you've got countless stories of the scripture throughout the scriptures of wicked women who got brothers into trouble, you know. You know, Samson and Delilah, you know, Delilah fucked up his shit. Another wicked woman was Jezebel, wicked as all hell, giving Elijah hell. And even a righteous woman, think of like Abraham's wife, Sarah. Her name was changed to Sarah, yeah. Abraham's wife, Sarah, she even lied to the angel. When the angel said you laughed, she was like, no, I didn't. And she was a righteous woman, yeah? So how much more wicked are these women in these last days you ain't got no women like that anymore who are prepared to call their husband Lord. You know, they're like, I don't need no man. I can take care of my babies myself. I can raise my kids myself. They've got this wicked spirit on them. They hate their man. They're traitor to their own nation, and they're bringing up their kids to be flipping effeminate or thugs or, drillers or whatever, man. These flipping Jake women, I can't wait till the Lord puts them in their place, man. What is it, Micah 7 and 10? Let me get that, man. Sorry, let me just grab that, Micah. One of my favourite scriptures. This is it. This is the one I wanted. Micah 7 and 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, Where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. And that's the day I really look forward to. I can't wait for Yahweh Hashem to bring this prophecy to pass, man. That's going to be a sight to behold. Anyway, I've just got a few more precepts that I want to hit. So what was the last one I got? 2 Timothy. Alright, so let me get Revelation 19:10. So, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. And that's the point. The testimony of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. Yeah? So, in order to prophesy these things, we need to have faith. And that's, you can't be a prophet without faith. It's not going to happen. So, and that's the test. We need to have faith. Yeah? So, the next precept is 1 Corinthians 2 and 21. 1 Corinthians 2 and 21. Hang on a minute, that's not right. 1 Corinthians 2. Sorry, 1 Corinthians 1 and 21. For after that in the wisdom of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, the world by wisdom knew not Yahweh. It pleased Yahweh by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Now this is the point, yeah? By the foolishness of preaching. So to most of the world, to all the other nations and the 2/3 of Jake, we're going to look like fools for believing in this word. We're going to be mocked, we're going to be ridiculed, we're going to be called foolish, we're going to be called all those things. But this is how Yahweh Hashem Yahshua wants it, to test our faith, because, without faith it is impossible to please him. So we've got to go through these things, and we've got to be prepared to look like a fool by preaching. And when you think about it, this is a light affliction compared to what Yahushua went through on the cross, I mean, who gives a fuck about a scoffer anyway? They're just walking charcoal. They've got it's like one of those old school martial arts films where someone hits them with a death strike, yeah? And they've got they walk 5 paces or something and they're going to die after being hit by this particular move. That happened in Kill Bill Volume 2. That's basically the life of a scoffer. They've already been hit by the death strike. They're just walking, a certain number of footsteps until they drop dead, or they're going to get hit by a nuke or some other tragedy, or some other calamity when the Lord opens up on this place. So, fuck it, man. Who gives a damn if you look like a fool? Because at the end of the day, if you're scared of looking like a fool, then you're probably proud. And if you've got a proud spirit, the Lord ain't dealing with proud spirits. So you got to be humble in this thing and be prepared to take the L's. Be prepared to, put your face out there on YouTube, or be out there on the streets for people to see you and know, hang on a minute, this guy's taking a stand for the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. There's nothing better to, there's nothing in this world for us, man. Nothing. There's no glory in this world, man. So what are you holding on to if you're afraid of putting yourself on the line, or putting yourself out there like that and doing the work? There's nothing to be afraid of, really, because Esau's a fucking beast, man. And what can he do? He can only kill you once. If you get killed in this truth, you're going to be coming back with Yahweh Shai. And as Yahweh Shai said, I will not meet thee as a man. He's coming back as a power. So whose side are you going to be on? Yahweh Hashem Shai or Esau and these wicked 2/3 and these other nation? It's not really a choice in my eyes, because I can already see one side's the losing team and they ain't coming back, So let me get another precept. So jumping down to verse 27. But Yahweh hath chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, and Yahweh hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound things which are mighty. Yeah? And the base things of the world, and the things which are despised, Yahweh hath chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So basically, Yahweh has chosen the foolishness of preaching to confound the mighty in this world. Yeah? So Esau, with all his military technology, all his jet fighter planes and battleships and guns and nukes and everything, we're going to bring this guy down for the foolishness of preaching. That's an incredible thing. And Yahweh's going to bring it to pass. All we've got to do in this thing is have faith and push the word, and keep hitting Esau with these, these spiritual jabs, keep peppering him with them. And, we're going to eventually cause him to have to take down the internet, because this truth is out there now. And as you brothers know, this truth is getting pushed now in the mainstream media. Just a few days ago, it was on CNN. So people are hearing about this truth. And this is the whole point. Whether they believe or they don't believe, the fact that they hear about it is bringing the end even sooner. Because those who don't believe, they're going to have no cloak for their sin. Because they'll have heard this word. They'll not be able to say, oh, I didn't know, Lord, I didn't know. They've got no excuse, So, I've just got a few more precepts, so I didn't want to make this lesson too long, but let me get the precepts. So 2 Corinthians 4:13. We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believed and therefore have spoken. We also believe and therefore speak. You see? And that's an important precept, because, let me read it again. We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believed and therefore I have spoken. We also believe and therefore speak. So because we believe in this word, we can't be silent. We've got to open our mouths, because, our words are weapons, and they're bringing down Esau's kingdom. So we've got to keep pushing it, yeah? 2 Corinthians 2:8 and 7. I don't know if that's the right precepts. 2 Corinthians 8 and 7. Therefore, as you abound in everything, in faith and utterance and knowledge and in all diligence, and also your love to us, see that you abound in this grace also. So this is important, yeah? Because it says, and in your love to us. So what is love according to the scriptures? I'll just get that for you. 1 John 5 and 3. This is what love really is. 1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Yeah? For whatsoever is born of Yahweh overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, and even our faith. Yeah? So 2 John 1 and 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments, and this is the commandment that ye should also. So let me start again. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that ye have heard from the beginning. Ye should walk in it. Now, what did the Lord command Peter when he came back after his resurrection? He said, feed my sheep. He said it to him 3 times. I think that's in the end of Matthew. But we're supposed to feed the sheep. Who are the sheep? The sheep are the the elect that are scattered around the four corners of the world. And how do we feed them? We feed them through this word, because this word is the bread of life. Yeah? So if we know this truth, we've got to do the work. We've got to be pushing the videos. We've got to be out there on the streets. If there's a camp near you, try and be out there. And we've got to be taking a stand for this truth, because we're supposed to be spiritual soldiers in this thing. So the precept for that is Ephesians 6 and 11. Just grab that. Spiritual soldiers. Let me start from verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armour of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith. Hear that? The shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Yep. And that's what I need. That's what I needed to do, to have this shield of faith, to quench those little scoffs that were thrown my way. Continuing on, and take the helmet of salvation, which is the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So that's the point. We've got to stay in this word, yeah. So faith is the key, man. A couple more precepts and I'll close out. Galatians 2:16. Right. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach. Even we have believed in Yahushua HaMashiach, that we might be justified by the faith of HaMashiach, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified, yeah? So basically what that means is that we can't keep all 613 lords. We can't keep all 613 lords perfectly in this flesh that we've got now, yeah? So we can't do it, it's impossible. So in order for us to be saved, we have to have the faith, because it's the faith that will save us, yeah? And the faith is, you show your faith by doing the works, and the works are pushing this word, yeah? And contending for the faith. Romans 16:17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offences contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Now that's a powerful precept. Let me say it again. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offences contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Yeah? So, I know in my case, I've already made this decision, it's already done. But some people out there might be thinking, oh, but that's my auntie. Oh, but that's my grandma. Oh, but that's my mum's. That's my dad. That's my uncle. That's my brother. That's my sister. That's, whoever. They might be thinking, oh, but, I can't avoid these people. Well, you can, yeah, and you should. In as much as possible. Obviously, you still got to be, show reverence and respect to your mother and your father and stuff. Do what you can to help them. But at the end of the day, if they start going off, and they start trying to bring their bugged out doctrines to you, cut them with the word or just withdraw. Don't give them an occasion to be able to try and chip away at your faith, because they'll do it. And sometimes you might think they'll say something and it doesn't affect you that much, but you'll be surprised how much it does affect you in the long term if they keep chipping away, just chipping away. So you've got to be careful, So, let me get Isaiah 8:20. Oh, it's luckier. Isaiah 8:20. Hopefully these precepts are edifying and helping brothers out there. So 8 and 20, Isaiah 8 and 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light in them. So basically, as soon as you see someone not speaking according to this word, it means they ain't got no light in them. And we're spiritual men, and the longer you're in this truth, the more you're able to discern the spirits on people. And some people might come up to you and say, but how can you judge so quickly? It's because when you're in this word, your mind becomes, you know what to look for. Like, you hear certain things that they say, or you see what angle someone's coming from. At the end of the day, there's only a limited amount of scoffs that someone can come up with. So the longer you're in this faith and in this truth, you start to see the same bugged out doctrines coming up again and again and again, and you know how and when and where to cut them. So moving on, obviously I'm not saying that I'm an expert in this thing. I'm still quite young in this faith, and I'm learning, day by day. But and I'm not trying to say that I'm, Mr. Know-it-all or Mr. Big Shot. No, I'm very humble in this thing. I'm there's a lot of brothers who are a lot stronger in the word than I am. But, I'm just trying to play my part, however big or small that might be. So, moving on, 1 Corinthians 14:32. Okay. And it says, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, yeah? So that's an important precept to keep in mind, because if you're of the hopeful elect, which we should all hopefully hope to be if we're in this faith and in this truth, and if we're prophesying, of these things, then we're fulfilling the office of a prophet. And it says that the spirits of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. And as we know, according to the Bible, reincarnation is a thing. So basically, if you was a prophet back in the ancient times, in the Old Testament and before, if you was a prophet back then, you're going to be a prophet now. So if you are a prophet, you should be doing the work of a prophet, which is prophesying. Yeah? So if you're hopefully of that elect, you should be doing this work, No ifs, whats or maybes. You should be doing this work. So let me try and end on Luke 17 and 10 to put things into perspective. Now this is a really important point, and this is why I was cut. Yeah, it says, so likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which were commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do. Let me read that again. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do. Now what that basically means is that no matter how much work you do in this truth, you've always got to remember that you're an unprofitable servant, because we can't do enough for the Lord. Yeah? And we should always want to do more. We shouldn't be reaching a point where we're thinking, okay, so I've done 3 videos a week, I'm just going to kick back and chill. No. We should be on fire in this thing, and we can never do enough, I'm not saying that, obviously Apostle Tahar put out the mandate that 3 videos a week was the minimum. But if you can do more, do more. Obviously every man's got his different situation. Everybody's got different things going on in their life. I don't know, maybe some people can only do 2, or they can only do 1, or whatever. But if you can do more, do it. I'm speaking really to myself here more than anything. So I don't want to sound like I'm trying to tell other people what to do, but I'm really speaking to myself through doing this lesson, And I knew that I wasn't doing as much as I possibly could. So, the fire is lit under my arse now, and I'm going hard in this thing. So, hopefully other brothers will want to do the same. Is there anything else I wanted to bring up? I think Matthew 24 and 35. this is an important thing to keep in your mind and remember, yeah? It says, Matthew 24:35, this is Yahushua speaking. He says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. You got to remember that the Lord's word doesn't go out void. It will accomplish everything he sent it to do. So when these scoffers are coming up and they're saying, maybe it was lights or the chariot wasn't following you, or whatever else they're going to say, remember that heaven and earth shall pass away, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's words will not pass away. These scoffers' words will. So you've got to decide, who are you going to believe in? The people in the world, or you're going to have faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? Me, I'm going to have 100% faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I'm going to end out here. Just one more precept. Matthew 28, 18 and 20. This is a good way to close out, I think. So, let me get this, yeah? Let me start from verse 17. It says, and when they saw him, they worshipped. This is after his resurrection, okay? And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Yahushua came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Ruach HaKodesh, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. So you've got to remember that, man. If you're in the faith and you're doing this work, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai ain't going to let you down. He's always going to have your back at the end of it all. Whereas if you put your faith in the people in the world, when trouble and tribulation comes, they're going to be the first to turn their back on you. You know, when people ain't got no food to eat and they see you've got something, they'll be looking to do you in just to steal your food or whatever else they might think you've got, just to get, you know, just to save their own skins, you know. So don't put your faith in the people in the world. You know, it's you know, that's like a really foolish thing to do. To have faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So I think I've hit all the precepts that I wanted to get. Yeah, I think I've hit everything. So with that, I'm going to say, so one more thing I'll say. I can't remember the scripture off the top of my head, but there's a scripture it says, where Yahushai says, whosoever love mother and father more than me isn't worthy of me. Something along those lines. So when it comes to dealing with your family members who might be in the world, just remember that. If you love your mum or your dad or your brother or your sister or your children or your aunties or your uncles or your grandma or your woman, you know, your wife, if you're putting them above the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, then you're not worthy of him. And that's the bottom line. And I'm going to end on that. Yeah, so if nothing else I said resonates with anybody, just remember that. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai comes first. Obviously, you're going to deal with these people. But, you know, remember the word of the Lord, because that's the most important thing, yeah? So with that, I'm going to say, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahushai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahushai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahushai, Abor Babor, Kwam Yashawala, yeah? Until the next time, Lord willing, yeah? Shalom.